Okay, today I'm going to show you how to create a quick perspective. And this just came to mind when I was putting together a different demo. And I quickly realized that their AdventureWorks, although it's a sample cube, is pretty darn extensive. And what I mean by that, when I pull into a pivot table and we start messing around with looking at all these things. So let's just, when you first come into a pivot table of AdventureWorks, you got exchange rates, financial reporting. That's going to go internet orders, internet sales, reseller orders, reseller sales, sales orders, sales summary, sales targets, values, KPIs. You got so much stuff in here. It's really a fantastic sample. But when you're going to demo something, you want to try to specifically stick within that area and concentrate and give the focus on that area so it's easier to understand. This, when you look at this, it's just a lot of stuff. A lot of good stuff, but a lot of stuff is too much for what I wanted to present. In fact, I only wanted to present a very small amount of this. So, this is also common in business where your users don't need to see the whole cube. You have this giant cube with all these different things, which is just a marvel. But for the people looking at it in their certain department, they probably only have to see a certain amount of that data and fields and columns and dimensions. You only need a little bit probably to get their job done. So what SQL Server gives you, if you own the Enterprise Edition, is perspectives. Perspectives basically allows you to take the cube and only show in a perspective, a defined perspective, the things you want that particular user or users or department need to see. Okay? It's really simple to set up, and I'm going to show you how to do that today because I have to get my demo ready, so it's a lot easier to understand a demo that's in another video. So this is what we're going to do. So right now I already showed you how it is looking at the pivot table and sorting through all this metadata. It's pretty terrible. Okay, but just real quick thing, if you did have to see the whole cube, like you would in Standard Edition, you can go up to this area here and click on one of the fact tables or measure groups, and let's say we go to exchange rates. If you do that, then only the dimensions associated with that measure group will show up. So that is one way, if you have Standard Edition and you can't get perspectives, that you can help isolate that. Okay, but your users would have to know how to do that, and you'd have to train them, and they would, a lot of times we want to just give them a black box if possible. So anyways, I'm going to show you perspectives, and I'm going to create one right now. Okay, I just jumped over to Visual Studio, and I'm in the AdventureWorks Cube, which is my solution on the right side. And what I do to create a perspective, I'll double click on the cube itself. And along the top here you see a group of tabs, all very important. Translations, you might not use translations that much, but you might. And if you do, of course, that's important. So here's perspective. So let's create a perspective. Now with AdventureWorks, it already comes with some perspectives. So as you see here, on the left side is all the objects in the cube. So if I bring this down, you'll see all the measure groups and their measures, and then here you're going to see all the dimensions. You can expand them out. You have all the hierarchies. You got everything here. So on the right side here, across the top, you have perspective name, perspective name, perspective name, right? Okay, so these are already defined by the AdventureWorks sample, but I didn't want to use these either. I wanted to use my own. Okay, so I'm going to create my own now. All right, so my own, I'm going to come up to this area here, this icon, and say where it says New Perspective, and click New Perspective. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, it's over on the right. It has no name on it. It says Perspective. So I'm just going to call this Greg's Perspective. Okay, and for lack of imagination. So anyways, what they do here, which I wish they didn't, is they check every single object there. So right now I'm going to uncheck all these, and then I'll come back to you. Wow. Okay, that took several minutes. Oh, what a pain. So anyways, I got everything, as you see, unchecked here in the new Greg's Perspective. I don't have to go through that again. I'm just going to do a quick save all. I don't want to. You never know. So what I want to do in my demonstration is just work with a certain measure group, which is reseller sales. Okay, so I see reseller sales is here, and I'm gonna. Okay, so I want to work with just the order quantity. So I come over and check that box, and I'm going, like I said, it's going to be a really simple example. Then I want to come down here and work with date. I need a date dimension, which everyone has to have a date dimension. So here's my date dimension. I just want certain columns here. So I'm going to pull this over. No. Okay, maybe I take these. I just want to get a little bit better visual on this thing. I guess I'm not going to get it. Okay, so on date, I'm going to go down to calendar year. Calendar year, which is there. And I want month of year, which is here. And that's good enough for that. And then I want to go down to product. So I'm looking for product. There's product. Okay, so I'm over at product. And I go down and I want to see category. And I want to see subcategory. Subcategory, where are you? Here we go. There's subcategory. Okay, that's it for my perspective. So those are the things I want to see. And I'm going to save this. And I'm going to go ahead and deploy. Should be a metadata change, so I don't think I have to rebuild the cube. I do have to put in some credentials here for the data source. Maybe I do. Maybe it is going to. Okay. So hopefully it's just going to deploy it without having to build. That looks like it's building. Sending deployment script to server. Builds once succeeded. Okay, it looks like it built. It deployed. Okay. We're good. So now I'm going to go over to Excel. Let's do it this way. I'm going to go to browser here, and I'm just going to click here and go and find my perspective. Once I click over here, let me do that again. I click here, I can go and locate my perspective. So here's Greg's perspective. I click OK, and then we look to the right or the left, and you'll see the measures, which is only one measure. You'll see my dates, and in my dates I have calendar year and month of year. Okay. And in my product I have category and subcategory, and that's a whole cube. That's all the users would see if they press on Greg's perspective. Okay, so let's drag a couple of these guys in. to see what they look like real quick. Pull in calendar year, pull in month of year, and I'll pull in category, and I'll pull in subcategory. Okay, very cool. I'm going to go in Excel. Again, and when I go to Excel, it asks me what perspective I want to use. I'm going to say Greg's perspective. We go through this stuff. We go into it, automatically creates our pivot table. And look how nice and clean this is. I don't have to do much here at all to figure out what I'm trying to do. And of course, you got to mess around with a couple things once in a while. Okay, so there I am. I got a very easy perspective for me to demo with. Okay, this user might only do one specific task and they don't need to see the whole cube. It just confuses them to death. And you can create a perspective and just let them look at their perspective. You can even name this perspective after them if you'd like. Thank you. This concludes this video. Please come and see more of my videos at www.sqlcoop.com. Thank you.